Mabuhay! Philippine Airlines welcomes you to Honolulu. The local time is 20 minutes past the hour of 6 in the morning, of 12 or 12 in the noon time, and the date today is the 4th of January 2026. The ground temperature is recorded at 23 degrees Celsius or 73.4 degrees Fahrenheit.
Sa right side na ito din. Lahat na include sa ito. Is
Mongkol. Hotel na to. Please. Dito.
I said, Papa, I understand what you're saying because when I got married, the priest to my wife said, Darlene, you take Art as your lovely wedded husband, heaven to hold till death do you part. She said, yes. But when he turned to me, I could have sworn, he said, Art, you have the right to remain silent. Hope you guys never get my priest. Now, look over to our right. There's a canal here that was water. This canal was completed back in 1920. Now, before 1920, all of Waikiki here was a marshland, a wetland. So whenever the rainwaters came down from these mountains and met up with the salt water here in Waikiki, they would go beneath Waikiki and create a whole bunch of water spouts. And that's how Waikiki got its name. Waikiki means water spout or sprouting water. Now, Waikiki itself is not very big at all. It's just a little over 2 miles long. But 98% of all the hotels and resorts are right here in Waikiki, except for the Turtle Bay Resort, which is located up on the northern part of the island, and the Ko'olina Resort is located out on the west coast of the island. Rather than that, 98% of all the hotels and resorts are right here in Waikiki. And there are 52 hotels here in Waikiki, and a little under 24,000 rooms, all condensed within that 2-mile radius. Isn't that something, folks? Of course, Waikiki is a very popular destination here. Now, I know this is a silly question I'm going to ask you guys, but have you guys noticed our ABC stores? All over the place, always one of the first features our visitors notice. Some of the visitors have told me, hey Art, I think I know what those ABC stores stand for. So I ask them, what do they stand for? And they go, I think it means all blocks covered. Some of them have said, I think it means Aloha brings cash. But us locals, we call them a bunch of crap. Now there are 44 ABC stores. There are 2 outside of Waikiki, but on that, they're all here in Waikiki and only in Waikiki. They are family-run stores. The original owner passed away a little over 30 years ago, and now his children are running the stores, and the apple does not fall far from the tree. Yeah, they're like a bad nightmare, folks. Anywhere you turn, you're going to see them. But they are convenience stores, so they're popular with our visitors here in Waikiki. Yeah, guys, you see, we have a little overcast there. It's going to be better today. Not as much rain as we had yesterday. Yesterday, just constant rain. It is our rainy season from late October all the way to March. And according to the meteorologists, it's going to get better today. Tomorrow it's going to be like this overcast. So we're going to have what is called scattered rain. Most of the clouds are up there to your right. I see where all the hills and mountains. So that's where most of the rain will be. Then they'll drift on over. And if it does rain, usually today, just give it 10 to 15 minutes and it'll disappear. It's weird. Sometimes it's rain. Oahu, guys? Yeah, we have. It's one of 8 major islands that we have here in our state of Hawaii. Yeah, according to scientists and historians, we have 132 volcanic rocks and shoals that make up the Hawaiian island chain. But we have 8 major islands, all created by volcanic activity from the north to the south. So of the 8 islands, the northernmost island is the island of Kauai. Right next to Kauai is a small private island called Ni'ihau. On that island of Ni'ihau, only Hawaiians live on that island. They have a population of just over 200, and they only speak Hawaiian on that island. And then there's the island of Oahu, the island that you're on now. South of Oahu is an island called Molokai. Right next to Molokai is Lanai, and then right next to Lanai is Kaho'olawe. Right now, Kaho'olawe is uninhabited. Nobody living on that island simply because before 1990, the military used it for target practice. But now they're clearing it up, and hopefully within 10 to 20 years, we'll be able to visit the island of Kaho'olawe. And then there's the island of Maui, and then last but not least, the youngest and biggest and southernmost island, the big island of Hawaii. And as some of you folks might know, there's a volcano spewing over there in the big island, Kilauea volcano, the longest flowing volcano. And there are 4 people that you might know of, and this is their hometown, Makiki. Can you guys say Makiki?
Makiki.
Yeah. One of them is Bruno Mars. Yep, attended Roosevelt High School right down the road from you. Later on today, we're going to see when we go up to the cemetery. And there's a private high school here called Punahou High School, one of 7 private high schools on this island. The alma mater of President Barack Obama. Yeah, right into my left. You see the street here, Makiki Street? I live right there, a couple houses down, so you can see. I live right down the road from Ichiba. One of these days I'll find the courage to get on over there. And right down the road from here is Washington Intermediate, where I attended the 8th grade along with President Obama. And from there, he went on to be president, and I went on to be Hawaiian. I'm from Ichiba. Now, folks, what's really popular in my hometown, if you look around, especially when we get on the freeway, you're going to notice lots and lots of apartment complexes and condominium units are in my hometown. As a matter of fact, per capita, this is where most of the apartment units and condominium units are located, not only on this island, but in our state of Hawaii. Yeah, so as some of you folks probably found out, yeah, Hawaii is a great place to live, but unfortunately, the cost of living is high here. So right now, the median price for a home in our state of Hawaii is just over $1 million. Yeah, median price. Is that crazy or what, folks? So later on today, I'm going to talk about how the Hawaiians are able to afford to live in our state of Hawaii. Depending on where you live in our state, a 2-bedroom apartment you can rent for anywhere between $1,800 all the way up to $4,700 a month. And a 2-bedroom condo unit will run you just over $500,000 here in our state of Hawaii. Absolutely crazy. So later on today, I'll talk about how the Hawaiians are able to afford to live here. Okay, guys? Now remember, we're on the island of Oahu. Oahu means the gathering place. So 70-75% of the population